Kate's ready.
Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us. This is the finale concert for the CGC Summer School for 2024. We've had musicians come from all over the world, as far as New Zealand and Australia, Belgium, Japan, and all over the United States, to come together for 5 days. And on day one, these musicians were given music that they're now performing on day 5. And part of this experience is all about learning how to work together, learning how to follow a leader, learning how to practice efficiently. And the performance you're about to see is the product of all that time. It's only an hour and a half each morning, so it's really impressive, the work that's been done this week, and we're going to get to enjoy it. So the first group will be led by Nicoletta Todesco, who also happens to be the director of the New York Classical Guitar Society Orchestra, playing 3 pieces. The first is Atmosphere Onirique, a dreamy atmosphere. Danza Maya, the first piece, by Luc Levesque. Danza Maya by Annette Krusbrink, and Tango by Annette Krusbrink. Please give a warm welcome to Nicoletta Tedesco.
this was the fun piece of the week. We had a lot of fun with it, and we decided to play it for you. We will get some extra help on stage, magically. Our guest artists and Manny are joining us for the fun, because this is too fun to play. And I'm so grateful for the extra help, and we're going to play a tango, Argentinian tango for you, and I hope you have fun with us.
Thank you, Nikki and her group. It was wonderful to start the concert off, and a lovely tango there at the end. So, where do we start with this week? First of all, thank you for all the people in the chat who are saying hello and wishing well. We've got people from Australia, from Russia, from England, from the UK. Hello to everyone. I know there's some friends and family listening, for players and for the staff as well. This week we had a schedule each day. We have ensemble in the morning for an hour and a half. We had workshops and presentations, followed by lunch, and then we had individual lessons in the early afternoon, and had orchestra rehearsals in the afternoon, which we'll see a little bit later. We're going to have the full orchestra of 60 guitarists on stage. Each night we had concert performers. We had some wonderful guest artists, and also a guest luthier this year who came and worked on a lot of guitars, hopefully going home sounding a lot better than they arrived. And then in the evening we socialize. We hang out together back in the dorm like we're students again, play pool, and possibly have a wine or a beer. I'm not sure if that happened at all this week. The next group we'd like to welcome is led by Dave Belcher, performing three pieces: Bonjour by Francis Clenyans, Bossa do Brasil by Annette Krusbrink, and The Spanish Syndrome by Jan Batlema. Please welcome Dave Belcher. this summer school each year is held in Beverly, Massachusetts, which is where we are right now at Endicott College. You might ask, why you have people all over the world coming to Beverly, Massachusetts? Well, as many of you watching will know, this is an online school, Classical Guitar Corner, and many people in the chat are from that community. There are probably some people that are not. I just saw someone called Darian Stiles saying, "That's my uncle," with the flame emoji. So there's some proud family members in the chat as well. But yeah, we know each other from the online school, and that's why we're an international group. And classical guitarists, day to day, often work on their own, and they practice alone, and they don't often have a chance to make music with other people. So this is a wonderful opportunity to not only to play with other people, but also learn elements that only come with this group approach. Rhythm, practice, following a conductor, all of these things are really important and integral to the learning process, and quite unique. I will say that there are some people for this summer school, it's their very first time performing in their entire life. So there's actually quite a courageous element to that as well. We had open mics two of the days where people got to perform solos up here on stage, and receiving rapturous applause from their colleagues in the audience. But it's got to be said, someone might be a top physician or an academic or a professional in their field, but when it comes to performing classical guitar, it's still an absolutely terrifying feat for the most of us. So my hat's off to them for taking the plunge. The next performance is going to be led by James Erickson, and he'll be conducting two pieces. The first is Si Dolce El Tormento by Claudio Monteverdi, and that's arranged by Clive Lane, who's a Sydney guitarist and composer. We'll be hearing another composition of his later on. Followed by Mi Favorita, arranged by David Gaudreau. Please give a warm welcome to James Erickson's groups. Another wonderful job, and thank you for all those performers. So, one of the challenges in putting this program on is that we need to think about the different players at different levels of experience and ability, and matching that with pieces, because we have to make something achievable within 5 days, but also pushing and challenging the players as well, the kind of Goldilocks zone. And so the things that you might listen out for in a piece is the complexity of interaction between the different parts. Of course, there's the tempo, the speed of the music. All of this music is being sight read on day one, so that means that you have to read it as you might read a book. So where there's no memorization going on, it's a lot of reading skills being developed. So there's the complexity of the reading as well. So we like to think we've fine-tuned this, but it's really quite a challenging process. And each group has had pieces specifically chosen for their level of ability so that they can bring it together in that 5-day period. The next two pieces are led by Janet Agostino, coming all the way from Australia. Janet has joined us for all 5 summer schools, and we're very fortunate. And her husband is back in Sydney. Hi, Raphael. We wish you were here. The first piece that Janet's group is going to perform is Passacaglia by Handel, arranged by Richard Charlton, and Mock Morris by Percy Granger, also arranged by Richard Charlton.
like to thank Gohar Vandanian for joining us in that.
Thank you very much, Janet, and your group. It's fantastic. So, one of the sayings we have at CGC, happens on the beginning of the podcast, is be inspired. And almost every night, yes, every night, including tonight, we had concerts in the evening. We had the CGC faculty. We had Dave Belcher, James Erickson, Nikki Tedesco, and Janet perform in a concert on the second night. And we had Connie Shu perform, and she had a particular piece that everyone really fell in love with. By Keigo Fuji, is that the correct pronunciation? Legend of Hagoromo. All of you in the chat can Google it right now. It's an amazing piece. Goha Vardanyan had an amazing performance. I think set the whole place ablaze with virtuosity, with some really inspiring playing. And I opened up the week with a concert as well. This year we had two support acts, if no better way than saying that. We had Rick Lord and Manny Arcello play before two of the concerts, and we featured some of the really accomplished players in our community here, and that was fantastic. Manny also played a piece that really captured everyone's imagination called Benga Beat by Gary Ryan, which included what I thought was a pop like that, but apparently it was like this, right? Yeah. We also were treated with a magical performance by P.T. Murphy in the evening. We have a lot of people in our community with a lot of talent, so we had a wonderful performance. So if you're ever in Galena, in Illinois, check out P.T. Murphy. Apparently, big tourist town, right? Yeah, absolutely. So, wonderful performances. And we also had another special guest here, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But for now, I'd like to introduce Dr. Connie Shu's group. They're going to play two pieces. The first is Obsession by Clive Lane. And the second is Milonga Mafiosa by Marcello Coronel. Please welcome the group by Connie Shu. Well, if you've never seen 60 guitarists singing together on stage playing guitar, you're about to. We're going to have a guitar orchestra come up on stage, and this is quite a feat. Someone out there in the internet land can do the math for me. 60 guitarists, 6 strings each, all trying to play at the same time. It's quite a challenge. Janet Agostino has been conducting our group along with Nicoletta Tedesco all week. Janet is very much involved in the Sydney Classical Guitar Summer School, which this summer school actually takes its format, albeit in a residential situation here. The Sydney Classical Guitar Summer School has been running for over 30 years, and if you're in Australia, you happen to be watching in from Australia, you might want to check that out. You can join in the summer play in January. If you're watching in from New York, you should look up the New York Classical Guitar Society Orchestra, which Nicoletta conducts. And they run an orchestra that performs about twice a year, I think, is it? And even does recording projects and commissions composers. So something very exciting there. The 3 pieces that will be performed is La Comparsita, which is a tango of Uruguayan origin. And it's the little parade, it translates to. Perhaps one of the most famous tango melodies that exists. That's arranged by Richard Charlton. Richard Charlton is an Australian guitarist and he's done a lot of arranging that we've been playing tonight. He's a friend of Janet and Raphael's and mine, and he's a wonderful composer and arranger. The second piece is The Water is Wide, a traditional English and Scottish folk song arranged by Andrew Forrest. And the final work will be Salty Tales, also an original work by Richard Charlton. And the story behind this, Janet told the story to the orchestra just the other day, and it was, some people said it brought a little bit of a tear to their eye because it was written in the honor of a dear friend of many of us in Sydney, Tig Thomas, who was the treasurer of the Classical Guitar Society in his last 2 decades of life, from his 70s through to his 90s. Just a wonderful human being, but very an avid sailor. So these Salty Tales have kind of a sea shanty feel to them. And that's what this piece will be composed about. So we're just finalizing setting up now, and you get to watch the glorious procession of guitarists come up on the stage in just a moment. The last person I want to mention that we had this week, we've never had a luthier before, but we were so lucky to have Gary Lee join us this week. Gary's a master builder, and I actually play one of his instruments. I'm very fortunate to do that, and it was a pleasure to play a concert in front of the builder. It's very rare, I can assure you. But what Gary's done this week is he's been able to kind of, the doctor is in, and people brought their guitars with various ailments, and he miraculously cured quite a few of them through adjusting the saddle, adjusting the nut, shaving down frets, talking very gently to them and stroking them on the side. He's kind of like a guitar whisperer. So we're very indebted to you, Gary. Thank you for all your efforts this week. So, without further ado, I think, Janet, it's time for the guitarists to come up?
Yes, it is.
All right,
it is
well.
Indeed. Could we have section 3B, please, move to the stage? And guitar 2s, please. Guitar 2s, come to the stage. Guitar 3Bs. And section 2. Guitar 1s, please. Guitar 1s. And guitar 4s, please come on. Should be last one. Welcome Nikki Tedesco to the
Hi everyone, so we are going to start with a tango again for you. Here we go with La Comparsita. going to change landscape. And so from South American tango, we go to one of the sweetest melodies ever. So the water is white. Agostino. Thank you. Welcome.
Before we play our last work for you this evening with the orchestra, Salty Tales, I think Simon has already told you a little about the work, but it's my honour and privilege to be here this week and directing a small ensemble as well as this magnificent group of 60 guitarists who have been so willing. We've rehearsed every day for an hour and a half and they've never complained. Well, at least not to me. But they're fantastic. The integrity, the enthusiasm, it never stops. I'm so proud to be here. Thank you very much. Now, Salty Tales.
thank you again for everyone who came here in Beverly to join us. I really appreciate it. And thank you for all you watching around the world. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you again next year.
Everyone say bye. Bye.